Hello, good morning, little children. Okay, we're going to look at some grammar just now, and the title is Types of Sentence. So there are four types of sentence: statements, questions, commands, and exclamations. So this is a statement. My pencil is blunt. A statement is a sentence that gives us information. How do you do this? This is a question. A question asks something. A question finishes with a question mark. Now, these are two that I'm pretty sure you know anyway. We spent quite a lot of time on these two. The other two are maybe a little bit trickier to spot. So sit down. This is a command. A command tells us to do something. And finally, it's not fair. This is an exclamation. An exclamation shows that a person feels something strongly. And an exclamation finishes with an exclamation mark. Okay, I'm sure you could have guessed that bit. So notice that a statement and a command finish with a full stop. That's not been mentioned there, but that's something to notice. Okay, now, this week and next week are short weeks because Friday and Monday are holidays. So what I'm going to do is, this is a 2-week task. Okay? I don't actually mind how you split it over the 2 weeks. So if you want to do the practice this week and then making sure and practice your punctuation next week, that's fine. Because there are 2 sections in practice, or if you want to do practice and making sure this week, then practice your punctuation next week, that's fine. If you want to do it all this week and then you won't have any to do next week, that is fine too. I don't mind how you divide it up. But this is it, because we've got a 4-day week this week and a 4-day week next week. We'll split this over 2 weeks. And as I say, you can decide how and when to hand it in to me. Okay. Well, not how. You're going to have to use Seesaw. But when, that is your choice. Okay. So the practice says, write a statement to answer each question. Right. Now, this is not a reading comprehension, but it does need to be a full sentence. So when it says 1A, what is for lunch today? Don't just say tuna sandwich. Okay? So you would have to make it into a sentence. Today, we're having tuna sandwich for lunch. Or today, tuna sandwich is for lunch. However you want to word it, I don't mind. But you have to write a statement. You can't just write a one-word answer. Number 2, make these statements into questions by changing them a little. The first one has been done for you. So A, Joe often copies Kimberly's work. And it's been changed to, does Joe often copy Kimberly's work? Now, you don't have to write the statement. You just have to write the question. A has got the 2 because it's an example for you. But when it comes to doing B, you're just going to write your own sentence. Khayyam's book is very messy. You're going to change that into a question. Just the question is all that's required for your answer. Okay, let's look at making sure. So here in instructions are commands. They tell us what to do. So these instructions tell you how to make a clay pot. Write them in the correct order. So you'll have to read that. Roll the clay around into a round ball. Leave your pot to dry. You've done a little bit of this with Mrs. Carter. Heat the kiln to bake your pot. Kiln is a word for a special kind of oven that basically cooks pottery. Smooth the outside of your pot, get a lump of moist clay, put your dry pot into a kiln, make a pot shape. You didn't put it in a kiln. That's the only difference. And then some of you painted yours and took them home. Okay, so part B, underline all the verbs. That you shouldn't find that too difficult. It would really help me if you underlined them in a bright colour that is easy to see. Section 2 of making sure, look at these exclamations. For each one, write a sentence about the person who could be speaking and what you think is happening. So 2A, I'm scared. So you could say the girl is going to the dentist. That's very strange. Somebody lost something from their pocket. I don't know. You think of better ones than that. But one sentence. Don't write a story. Just one sentence for each. Okay? And finally, practice your punctuation. Punctuate these sentences correctly. So some of them will be statements. Some of them will... In fact, section 2 tells you. Write S if it's a statement. Q if it's a question. C if it's a command. And E if it's an exclamation. I don't mind if you can set it out the way it's done there. So 1 A, B, C, D, or you can do 2 A, B, C, D, or you can write your little letter at the end of each sentence. Again, make sure it's clear. It would be clear if it was in colour, but make sure it's clear so that I can tell which letter you're putting for each one. Okay? So you've got until a week on Friday to get this completed. It would help me greatly if you did it in 2 stages, but that is not essential. Yes, so let me know how you get on.